Hi YouTube, this is Mr. Sasuke Dragon and welcome to episode 3 of Road to the WCQ matchups. We're now nearing April the 20th, which means we're 4 weeks away from the WCQ. And now we have to seriously think about the different type of matchups that we will be going against. Now we're going to see a few Dino Rabbits, Wind-Ups and Insectors. Especially those three top main decks. A lot of people are going to be playing those decks and they are coming to this competition to win. So they're going to have big, powerful decks. They're going to spend a lot of money on these three decks and they're coming here to win. They don't care how much money they have to spend, they want to win. With Dino Rabbit, Wind-Up and Insectors, they have a chance. Dino Rabbit, everyone knows what Dino Rabbit does. Biggest players are Luggier and Dolka. Once they're on the field, you're screwed. You need to really get rid of them straight away. Wind-Ups have a good loop. If they get the loop off, well, it's good game to them. If they don't get the loop off, well, the deck kind of struggles a bit. The deck still has a lot of potential and it can do a lot of different type of plays. So don't count out Wind-Ups just yet. Just because they don't have the loop doesn't mean they're not good. Insectors is a completely different matter. They rely on Hornet. Hornet has to be in the graveyard for Insectors to go off. So it really makes you think, get rid of the graveyard. Macros Cosmos is the first card that comes to mind. If they have no graveyard, they can't use Hornet and Insectors are dead unless they get rid of your Macros Cosmos. So Insector players are going to have to really think about what they're going to be doing. Dark Worlds. Now Dark World's top to YCS and the opponents really didn't have much choice of doing anything. Your Dark World player discards, they get to special on that monster they discarded. You discard a card that you really needed and now you're screwed, and your opponent who runs Dark Worlds has got all their monsters on the field they need and you've got a bunch of cards in your hand you can't do anything with. And you set your cards face down and they just go pop, 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 oh dear, attack for gain. So Dark Worlds are a good matchup and a bad matchup at the same time, depending on who goes first. Six Sams. Six Sams is one of the decks that I really hate so much. Even though she ends at 1, it's still a pain in the backside. I've been against Six Sams quite a lot over these past few weeks and it's annoying because the opponent gets out Shien first turn. Next turn they bring out Barkion. Next turn after that out comes Beast. And it's like, oh dear, you can't do anything. I mean, my Infernity deck that I tested didn't do too bad. It got rid of the Beast and the Barkion. And of course Shien still stayed on the field, which is irritating. And Dino Rabbit did extremely well against it. I was quite surprised. A lot of variations of Six Sam decks do pretty well against Dino Rabbit. But this time when I went against this Six Sam player, I really gamed him so bad. It was like, yeah, that's not going to happen in real life. As I always think, Dueling Network gives you godly hands that sometimes you never really have in real life. And sometimes you get really crappy hands and you're like, yeah, this is not true to life. But it really makes you think about, okay, if I get a hand like that, what can I do? So, Six Sams is not really too much of a big deal for me. Chaos Dragons. Chaos Dragons I've play tested around a lot. I know how they work, I know the schematics of the deck, I know exactly how to beat this deck and how to stop it. I've been against a lot of people with Chaos Dragons too, and the deck just really is brilliant. It just special summons like a bitch. But of course there's a lot of options to get rid of Chaos Dragons. Light Imprisoning Mirror for things like Light Pulsar Dragon, Shadow Imprisoning Mirror, and of course Chaos Trap Hole. So there are good outs to Chaos Dragons. Now of course when we go through this little list, these are some of the decks that we will see at the WCQ, but of course there are going to be some of these rogue decks that will come out of the woodwork and start just topping. We see our locals, that people bring road decks to the locals and just go straight through all the big players. I'm like, what the hell is that? And they win our locals. And you think, that's not a bad idea. That's a real good deck. So there's going to be road decks. I'm expecting to see a lot of road decks go into this competition, and it's going to be awesome. But then as we analyse through these decks, what's really going to happen? With Dino Rabbit as a mirror match, I'm not too worried about. Wind-ups, well, wind-ups are wind-ups. Insectors, well, if I'm going to stop them using the graveyard, Hornet's dead, and I could really do some big plays and start attacking the game. Dark Worlds, I don't know, a lot of people haven't been playing Dark Worlds around here, but you never know, someone may play Dark Worlds at this WCQ, so it'd be interesting to see. 6 Sams, I'm expected to see 6 Sams because 6 Sams topped and everyone's like, yeah, 6 Sams are back, they're awesome, they're brilliant. Yes, they are awesome and brilliant. And of course, Chaos Dragons is one of the top decks that people are going to be running. So it's going to be interesting to see with all these decks coming out here. You know, it's going to be quite interesting because building the side deck is going to be a bitch because you've just got all these brilliant decks out there and there's so many outs to most of these decks. But you think to yourself, well, at the end of the day, I'm just going to have to sit down and really think about where my deck's going and decide exactly what deck I am taking to this competition and build the side deck accordingly so it doesn't balls me up as well. So I'm really looking forward to building this side deck. So, until the next video, which will be the side deck, this is Mr. Sasuke Dragon signing out on the road to the WCQ.